Hey, you're back. Welcome to another 3-Minute Thursday. What do you guys want to talk about? I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about dust. Why? Because dust is my enemy. I'm excited because we're actually going to respond to a viewer question from Ray Webb. I hope I said your name right. Ray says, looking through my viewfinder, I see spots. I do not see these spots in Lightroom. Is there another spot where I can clean to get rid of them? And the answer is absolutely. We're going to talk about it right after the intro. Okay, so Ray, thank you very much for the question and thank you for watching. I'm going to do my best in this channel to respond to all the questions that I get because I know when you're first starting out, there's just so much that you have to learn. And it's sometimes the little things that get you frustrated when you're out there trying to take pictures. The dust that you have to worry about the most is sensor dust. When dust gets on your sensor, it completely blocks that part of the sensor from receiving any information through the lens. And so it shows up as a very noticeable spot. Oftentimes, dust on a lens won't create a spot. It will affect the sharpness of your image, and depending on how dirty your lenses are, it can be a real problem. So you definitely want to always keep your lenses clean, but if you're seeing spots, it's almost always on your sensor. Now, to answer Ray's question, if you see spots through the viewfinder, but you're not seeing them in Lightroom, that's good news because that means that you probably don't have dust on your sensor, so you don't have to worry about trying to clean it. But it can be annoying and it can be a little concerning because when you're out in the field taking pictures, you don't want to, have a great photograph and be worried that when you get home you're going to see dust. There are multiple locations where you can get dust to build up on your camera. I'm gonna grab my camera real quick. My goal here is to just kind of break down the different places where you can find dust and how much of a problem it's gonna be. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my lens off the camera. And since this is a dust video, I'm gonna do the right thing. And I'm gonna put my little body lens cap on so that keeps dust out of there. And then I'm gonna put this on my lens. And I should have a lens cap, however, it's in my camera bag upstairs, so yeah, already breaking the rules. We're gonna work off this image right here and work from the front of the lens back and talk a little bit about where dust shows up. So obviously, the first place where you can get dust is on the front of your lens. Now, because this is so far away from your sensor, and depending on what focal length you're using, if you have some dust or dirt on your lens, it will show up as kind of a blurry spot in your image, and you may not even realize that it's something on your lens that's causing that problem. On the inside element, these are referred to as the focusing elements of your lens. You can get dust and dirt on these elements. However, again, this generally will affect the sharpness of your photo, but it won't show up as a spot. Even through the viewfinder, it'll just be a more of a blurry blob or a blurry portion of your composition than a spot. So that's something to consider. Now, inside the camera, if you have a regular DSLR camera, the first thing that you're going to see is the mirror that is always in the down position. And the mirror is what you are looking through when you look through the viewfinder, and it's showing you what you're seeing through the lens. It is possible that some dust can collect on the mirror and that's what you're seeing through the viewfinder. If you have dust on the mirror, it will not show up on your sensor because the mirror flips up while the sensor is gathering the information through the lens and then flips back down. One of the easiest ways to get dust off of your mirror is you always want to point your camera upside down so that the dust falls down. Let gravity work for you. Take your pocket rocket or your blowing tool. Give it a couple of really good, quick, firm blows. Don't jam this thing in there. Just kind of give it some blows and see if that works. You can take just a regular lens cloth with very light pressure, wrap it around your finger like this. You can go in and just kind of give it a couple wipes. You would be doing this to dislodge a piece of dust that wasn't blowing off, But because it's hard to keep dust off of your rag too, you want to follow that up by going back in and giving it another squirt with air, just to make sure that anything that you dislodged with the cloth, if the cloth didn't pick it up and take it out, you've just blown it out now. Okay, so the next place where you can get some dust is inside the camera above the mirror. There is what's called the focusing screen, and this is where, again, you're looking through the viewfinder and it's reflecting down to the mirror and out the lens. This focusing screen is also someplace where you can get some dust. You can, by holding the camera upside down, you can blow some air directly on that focusing screen and go in there with a lens cloth if you need to, and then blow it out again. So that's another place where dust can show up that you'll see through the viewfinder. Now, the last place, and I know this may seem really obvious, but I just want to talk about it because I used to forget about this all the time and it used to drive me crazy, and then I would think, oh geez, this was so easy. So the other place where I get dust and I see it all the time, actually in the viewfinder. So this piece of glass here, because when you're taking your camera in and out, you don't always cover this. This is almost always exposed to the elements. This is a really common place for dust to pick up. So again, this is something that you can blow with your pocket rocket. That's what I call it. Clear this out with your lens cloth. However, if you get fat fingers like me and the viewfinder is so small, one of the things that I like to do is I like to use a Q-tip to get in here to get the corners, and that helps you get into places where your finger couldn't go. And again, anytime you do something like this, follow it up with a little bit of air to make sure that you don't leave any dust behind. Then what you can do is no, I'm just kidding. Don't freak out. This is the wrong thing for you to use to clean your camera. You can use this on the outside. I don't have a problem with that. Sometimes if I'm in a really dirty, dusty environment, I'll do a quick blow of the outside of the camera to get dirt and dust off of it. But you don't ever want to use this to blow inside your camera elements or your lenses. And the main reason why, first of all, is it's just too forceful. It will end up pushing dust further into your camera, into places where you'll never get it out. And if anybody's ever held a can of air upside down, you know, you get that kind of frozen spray that comes out. Very important to make sure that you don't use canned air. Always use a pocket rocket. That's what I recommend. Yeah, so that's the video for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope to see you again next week. More videos coming out soon. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them. And that's this video. Peace.